Hello world, my name is Silva Draconis and welcome, not really back to Secrets of Grindea. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode. It's going to be, hopefully, a shorter one. I've already tried recording this once and I ended up rambling way too long. But the intent of this episode is to fully, succinctly lay out the timeline and what all has happened so far in the story. Because I realized, I started rewatching my playthrough of it, and I realized that some of the things that there were some things that we already knew, and then by the time the Desert Out update came out, and then there was a couple times where I took a few months break, I forgot a lot of it. So I wanted to make this video in hopes of shielding against that for when the next update comes out and the next big thing happens. So me and everybody else who is invested in the series can come and just watch this video and be refreshed and know what's going on. Or they can just remember, like some people who have, decent working memories. But hey, I'm not one of those people, so I'm gonna make this. So I'm not gonna be doing much. I'm probably just gonna be walking around the town, but I need something in the background because I don't do face cam. And plus, it's just nice to have something to do with my fingers while I'm trying to talk. I've rehearsed this a bit in my head a couple of times. Hopefully I don't end up rambling too much, because usually that's what I have to do to stop myself from going off on a tangent. So, let's get started. We're just going to jump right into where it all began. So, where this story began is 1,000 years ago. There was a child named Zamala Mir who had an adoptive sister of Tessin and his grandfather Siozu. They lived in Taiming. He was a prodigy. He was amazing at combat, at collecting, but he didn't want to do it. However, his grandfather pushed him, saying there was a prophecy that some great evil would become of the world, and he wanted to be able to stop it. Unbeknownst to the grandfather, what he did was an Anakin Skywalker, and basically pushed him into becoming the great evil instead of the whole, chosen one thing. Fun. So years pass, and he gets more and more obsessed with... Oh, wait. Before years pass... Rewind. This isn't going to be the neatest thing in the world, but hopefully it's a little bit better than the last time I tried to do this video. Anyway. So, while that is going on, we actually meet a few of characters that are going to be coming back, along with, Zamala. Obviously. Namely, being the artifacts. Brazet, Shindu, and Pozu, however that's pronounced. We actually meet them. Because when we were in timing, when we were in the first time bubble, I'm going to refer to as first and second, because we do one, then we jump forward into a bit forward time. In the first time bubble, we actually meet Brazet, the bracelet that ends up brainwashing Luke. We meet her. I say her, I don't know. And we also meet Piaozu. And Bag actually remarks on Piaozu at the time, but I didn't realize it. I thought he was just remarking on himself, but no, that's actually him. Tiny Bag. Tiny little pouch Bag. And Bag, as a tiny artifact, was adorable. Can I just say, rewatching this series, he was fucking adorable. Then we jump forward a little bit and we find out that they are in fact being used by Zamala because the kid that we met, maybe not kid, but the kid-looking guy we met before is talking to Shindu and Helmet that Brazet and Piaozu are being used by Zamala. And we find out that Bag is in fact Piaozu at the end of all the story stuff back then. That yes, he was Piaozu, he was used by Zamala. So, now we fast forward a little bit. Zamala is going around collecting things and becoming more and more obsessed with collecting every card. Like, everything. And getting more and more corrupted by it. And we see a lot of those events play out in patches. Him coming back the one time before he got the last few cards, and him being basically almost long gone. Tessin trying to bring him back by giving him the crown, and that really just kind of makes him solidify himself that he's going down a dark and dangerous path. Then you go forward a little bit more, and he collects every card, but he goes a bit crazy from it. Then he pulls out the sword that... The sword is also a reoccurring thing. I don't remember its name, sadly, but it is the sword with the green handle and green ore. He pulls that out, he kills somebody, saying he's looking for the human card. As a matter of fact, he kills Xiaozu. And then he goes on to start trying to kill other people, but they're just like, what the fuck? So he goes off to kill other villages. Thus, the cataclysm begins. And during this time is when Professor Pine and Tani start their research in the military stuff with developing Phase Man and Gundam. We have met Tani briefly before because she brought her phase trick stuff to Timing, but now in these flashbacks we see them both and they're fully in their military sort of deals. There's also a few other reoccurring characters in that sort of trick phase group. There's Kylin as well. He shows up. I think him and Professor Pine are both on the ghost ship. Yeah. But anyway. Time goes on, and Tani ends up dying. I believe in Timing. I remember Professor Pine saying. No, it wasn't Timing. What was it? I can't remember exactly. Even with making this video with the intent to remember stuff, I can't remember. But anyway, Tani dies, and it's real sad. She dies sometimes after Phaseman fails, and then Gundam is their only hope, which sucks. So they're trying to stop him. Phaseman fails. Gundam fails. Then it's kind of down to the last straws. Fatida completes the trial of the goddess to get help from her, and the goddess gives 2 scrolls. One of which to seal Zamala, and one of which to summon someone to be able to hold Zamala off long enough for them to seal him, because, you know, it's kind of an intensive spell, it takes a little bit, and he's real strong. Also revealing the fact that someone is going to need to stay in the village to protect it until, you know, said person comes along in the future. That being Tani. She volunteers. And we find ourselves in the room. It turns out we're the ones that are being summoned from the future, which is great. So we get summoned again. Then he gets sealed off, and his items get removed, except for one. Because this was an interesting bit I caught as well, because it kind of solidifies of when Bag leaves Zamala, because it is confirmed that he was with Zamala as Pausi. So when Zamala got sealed, they took his items and basically scattered them and sealed them away in various places, except they mentioned that one got away, but it wasn't very important because it wasn't, you know, strong. It wasn't very strong. It wasn't attributing to Zamala's power. That is likely Bag. And sometime after that, he meets up with our family, either on my dad or my mom's side. I think my dad's. And he kind of stays with us. When exactly in the timeline he met up with our family, or if he actually just met up with our dad, I don't think so, though, because I think it mentions him being in the family before then. I don't know. But that's that event. That's when Bag left Zamala, is when Zamala got defeated. And then now we're going forward a little bit into the future. We're not fully into the present yet, because we still have the stuff with my dad to deal with. So it's been a long time. It's been a very long time. The events of the Cataclysm have been practically forgotten. It's been regarded as some sort of big natural disaster or horrible event, rather than the actions of one person. The artifacts have been forgotten what they were, sealed away in various corners of the world. The crown in Taiming, the amulet in the now crashed flying fortress, the gauntlet entrusted to the Fae, and Brazet on a ship bound for the Merchant Isles, And the sword, I presume, was put in that cave to be guarded by the dragon. I don't know. But, long story short, my dad and my mom, dad, who doesn't have a fucking... Why doesn't my dad have a name? Why doesn't my dad? Everyone else has a name. It's weird. That's a weird thing. Anyway, and my mom, Charlotte, are exploring this cave, and they see this sword, which is the big bad sword. My dad grabs it, dragon wakes up, chomps off his frickin' arm, and then they run, and he breathes fire. My mom shields my dad, but she ends up dying. Horrible. After that, my father becomes obsessed with trying to find a way to bring back. I should mention at this point as well, I am born. I am at least born, and I am likely somewhat older than infant if I was left with Grandpa Joe while they went off adventuring. I am at least toddler age. I'm non-parental unit looking after age. That's my assumption. I'm not saying a baby can't be looked after by someone else, but like it's not as likely. So I'm imagining I'm at least toddler age at this point. And my mom dies. And my father, as we've seen in some of it, not exactly flashbacks, but more just they might have been actually flashbacks, I don't know, with the one scene when we were trapped in Mr. Bones' nightmare illusion realm here. The one scene with our father where, you know, books and papers kept piling up and he becoming more and more obsessed with trying to find a way to bring her back. And he's also training us to become a collector, because presumably, this is a bit more conjecture. He has the sword at this time, and he also has Bag. So, but apparently Bag doesn't know he has the sword. Because it was kind of a shock to Bag when he pulled it out and was just like, oh shit. So, either the sword starts whispering things to him, or, I mean, it likely does, but I think it was Bag that suggested the idea if he gathered these artifacts, then there might be a way to bring Charlotte back. That's my assumption. Because it seemed like Bag and my dad were colluding for a long while. So we go, we become a collector. Huzzah, huzzah, we get the first two artifacts. Which actually makes... Remember when Amulet was calling Bag a traitor? That kind of makes that a bit more poignant, since apparently they knew each other. It might not have just been talking about traitor amongst artifacts, it might have been talking about traitor amongst those particular artifacts. Makes that a bit more poignant. Then... we find out after we get Gauntlet from the Season A that our father had set us up to collect these items, and then he wants to bring our mom back. This was the thing, this was a big thing that I forgot, that we knew all the way back then that our dad wanted to bring Charlotte back. All the way before the festival, right after we got Gauntlet, and before we got the mission to go get the crown. That was when we found out that was our father's intentions, and it was bad. So we find that out. I remember myself in particular resolving, especially since I just rewatched that episode recently, I remember myself in particular resolving to find a way to either destroy them or convince my dad or something, because bringing people back from the dead is, no. Don't do that. No, they never come back great. It's bad. Don't do it. So we find that out, but we don't really have a choice. Gameplay-wise, we don't have a choice. And we also don't want the items to fall into Ivy's hands, because she seems rather malicious about the whole thing. So, if anything, we have to get the items to keep them out of Ivy's hand, because we find out that Ivy knows where one of the items is, and that's bad. So we go after the crown, we go to timing, and this is where everything goes all crazy with the time wibbly wobbly stuff, and we find out all that details about the past and yada yada, and oh shit, we had to fight Zamala, but not really, we just had to live. Get the crown, And we come back. Bag makes a lot of poignant statements here that I kinda didn't connect the dots on. It was really obvious with the knowledge that, yes, he actually was Palsy, and he did belong to his mom. It was really obvious that that was the case from the stuff he was saying. I don't know why. I think I did connect I did connect that somewhat. I theorized that Bag might have been owned by Zamal, but I don't think I connected the dots that he was Palsy. Or maybe I probably had a theory, because I think I was talking about Bag's name at one point, and how it was weird that he was just called Bag, and everyone else had like a fancy name. But I didn't have any concrete evidence. So after that, all those shenanigans, we bring the crown back. And let me remind myself what the hell I'm talking about. So after all that shenanigans, we bring the crown back to our dad, and it turns out that the item that Ivy was going after wasn't that one. It was in fact Brazet, who she sent Luke after. Now, we really gotta go help Luke, and we really need to get this item so Ivy doesn't get her hands off him. So off we go to the desert to get a ship to get out to this lost ghost ship. The ship that was carrying Brazet that for some reason fell ill with a mysterious illness that hasn't been mentioned anywhere else, actually, and it's kinda strange. I thought that would kind of get cleared up of why the hell that happened. Maybe it was because of Brazet, but I highly fucking doubt it, because what Brazet says she can do is not that. So that was kind of weird. But Mr. Bones, Mr. Captain Bones, upon realizing that this artifact is real bad and is trying to whisper things to them, and that everyone's fucking dead at this point, or dead or dying, he realizes they're in a place he calls the Mist, or the Hazy Ring. That's what it is, the Hazy Ring, which I'm presuming is sort of a lost sort of area that you can't really navigate. So he cuts the sails and is determined to spend his centuries here guarding this horrible artifact that eventually gives up on trying to convince the captain and is just sitting there. So that is that story's artifact story of why it got there. We head out there to try and find Luke and also the artifact. We manage it with the help of Villa and her cronies. Frickin' ripped to the ruby, but hey, they got their spirits back in the end. But we make it. And as we're going through talking to the dead, and it's all kind of dreary, we eventually get through all the puzzles and shenanigans, only to encounter Mr. Bones again, who then locks us in that horrible realm. It was I don't remember what he called it, but it was a endless stream of illusion spell, basically. And he didn't use it on Luke because at some point before we got there, I'm assuming that I think this is what happened, is Luke got the artifact and put it on, or she convinced Luke to put her on, and Bones realized that was bad and stole his teleportation device from him to trap him here. That's from what the sounds of it, that's what happened. So he didn't harm the kid because he didn't have to, because he was stuck there anyway. Luke couldn't go anywhere. And Luke couldn't exactly harm him because he's a ghost, you know. And we were the only ones that could do that because we could enter the Twilight with the spectral camera thing. We get there, he locks us in that horrible nightmare realm, and with the help of Bag and our own determination, we bust out, encountering 3, things we have to face about ourselves. And I think about stuff we've seen from others as well. Like, there was the house with the slimes and everything, the obsession, gotta collect them all, the obsession. Then there was the scene with our dad, where it was expectations, and then I don't actually remember the third one. The third one wasn't as poignant to me. That was the confusing puzzle one, I think. I don't remember what the actual item we got was called. I remember the expectations was the shield, because it was like heavy and shit, and the obsession was the card, and whatever the other one was the sword. I don't remember. But then we go back to our dream house as everything's freaking turning gray and horrible around us, and Bag is talking to us, trying to wake us up. We break the moon? I'm guessing it was symbolic of the illusionary realm. Our globe turned into the moon, and we smashed it. I gotta say it at the time as well, I didn't realize that would happen. I was just trying to figure out what the fuck to do, and that looked different, so I went to hit it. I kind of wish I had taken time to explore around a bit more, but at the same time, I'm happy not to be in that fucking place. We bust out, and we heard Bag talking sappy, and turns out the dude really actually cares about us. Like, a lot. And he was real scared for a good solid minute there that we weren't gonna come back, but we made it. And then we have a little bit of conversation with the captain, with Bag almost saying that we reminded him of Zamala, which is concerning. So I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my brain for a little bit, because there was all the stuff in timing about there was some prophecy-esque stuff there, but even before timing, there was some, I don't know, there's been things alluding to us that it worries me a little bit, like, prophecy-wise. I'm concerned. I am very concerned. Especially the fact that Ivy tried to stop us from getting to the collector's exam all the fucking way back then, and I don't know why yet at this point. Like, what was her motivation? I don't understand. Like, I know Charlotte was meant to become the Grand Collector before she died, but like, we're the kid. Like, you're gonna be in power for a good long time, so why the hell did Ivy try to stop us? I don't know. Anyway, this is me monologuing at this point. Or, not monologuing, but rambling. Back on track. We go up, and we face Luke and Brazet. It's a very hard fight, but we eventually win. And we get Luke to his senses with Bag telling him, you know, how powerful Brazet is, and getting Brazet to reveal that as long as he's wearing her, he can't lose, because he can't be broken, I guess, is her thing. She holds things together. And he doesn't like that's him basically cheating. He takes her off with Bag, trying to warn him not to do that. And she also calls out saying that, fucking idiot, don't do that. And he goes to try and fight us again in a fair fight, and he collapses and dies. Because he was very badly damaged from our fight. And without Brazet to hold him together, he perished. Which is really fucking sad. Jesus. Then Brazet bounces off some things and come back, and me and Bag both almost fucking lose our shit. Bag bashes her around, and I almost try to throw her off, but he's like, no, we gotta find out how to destroy it, otherwise she'll just wash up on the shore and fuck with somebody else. And we're like, yeah. And this is where Bag changes tune from wanting to collect all the items to wanting to find a way to destroy them. Because he's kind of seen the havoc they wreak with what happened to me, and then Luke, and probably stuff over the years as well, let's be honest here. But, like, seeing all the stuff the different artifacts have done, and that this was kind of the final straw with Luke dying. Because he was just a good kid, man. Luke was a good guy. He wasn't the brightest, but he had an earnest heart. That shit sucked. We go back, and of course the first person we encounter is Marino, and that's really fucking sad, cause him and, Luke and Marino at the very least had a very strong friendship forged. I don't know if it was more than that or not, but at the very least, like, there was a lot of shit there. They were very good friends, at the very least, and that hurt. Marino almost fighting us, and then realizing that if he had been in the same situation, he would have just died. And then he left. It's like, that's sad. So we go and talk to our father, And Bag is like, hey, this isn't a good fucking idea. We actually need to destroy these things, because, it won't bring back Charlotte, it's gonna bring back Zamala. It's not gonna bring her back, man. The only thing these things are gonna bring back is Zamala. And my dad basically asks, well, can you bring Charlotte back? And he's like, well, no. And he's like, well, then I'll take my chances with Zamala. And Ivy tries to stop him and gets her ass kicked because he has all the artifacts and reveals that he still has that fucking sword. And he has all of the shit now. And it's kind of scary. Then he kicks Ivy's ass and he goes off to the ancient ruins, which then become a tower, and it's revealed that that's where Zamala was sealed away. I thought that's where his body was originally, but rewatching the videos, he didn't actually die. He was just sealed away. That's really concerning, because that as sad as it was at the end there, that fight with Luke was really tough, and he only had Brazet. I remember that brief little fight with Zamala, and especially rewatching it, where all I had to do was survive. I didn't have to fucking hit him, and I almost died. So, Zamala's gonna get revived. It's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be real bad. And that's where we are up to current date. Our current goal right now is to go to the tower and try to stop our father from doing a terrible, horrible thing. Which, even if he does succeed in bringing Charlotte back, it probably still won't be a good thing. Because bringing the dead back doesn't work like that. It's not good. It's very much so not good. But yeah, that is the story so far. I don't really have anything else I want to do. I'm kind of just sitting on the map here, just like pointing out, like, oh, look, here's the tower, and oh, look, here's the ship, because I just needed a background, really. I just needed a background. And also, this helps me remember. But man, what a wild fucking journey. And rewatching it as well, like, all the story of this gets surprisingly heavy at times. Like, there's some real funny moments with me and Bag as we're adventuring and stuff. The amount of times I just keep touching things. He's like, fucking stop that! It's fucking great. But like the actual like main story, a lot of the segments, even as far back as like with Winter and Winter dying and shit at the expense of like, God, that it's just sad. There's a lot of heavy stuff that I didn't remember. Well, not that I didn't remember, but I didn't remember it properly. Like, that shit hits hard, man. It's a really good story. I'm enjoying it a lot. There's a lot of funny moments and there's a lot of like heavy moments. It's great. I'm having a lot of fun with this. But yeah, that's the story so far. That's what we have to do. And do we have any side quests at the moment beyond the phase trick ones? No. No, we do not. So we have some phase trick ones that we have to do. Where are they? Obviously this one is the 22nd one. This is just the main quest. The question mark keeps increasing, so that's like the next main quest that we have to do. Down here is the museum stuff, which isn't in effect right now. At least from last I saw, unless there was an update in the past like day since I played. I don't think so. And this all, I don't know what that is. I don't know. So yeah, not much left to do. I might explore the ship a bit more on my own to try and figure out what the hell that is, but at the same point, the one I do know isn't implemented anyway, so it might not even be there yet. The numbers might just be there. Driving me crazy. Maybe I'll turn to Zamala after all, obsessed with collecting everything. Probably not. I'm not gonna go crazy trying to find the human card. I still think now that the main portion of that has ended, I am going to wax a little bit into some theories I have, but I won't go too long, because I've already been talking a lot. And I was about as succinct as I could make myself in talking about the story, and that was like 30 fucking minutes. What the fuck? But I will wax into a little bit of theories. I think there is more to his crown that was originally made by Tessin to be the king of having fun, and then warped into that, the crown that we collected, and that hasn't said anything so far. It really That's really interesting to me, that the only artifact that hasn't said anything is the crown. And I remember reading in that one in particular. I didn't read any of the other ones in my inventory, which I regret. But that one in particular, I did read, and it said it exudes an aura of sadness. And it's like, well, okay. So I think the crown might be a key to something. Either defeating Zamala, or maybe we get the crown on our side and to stop our dad, or something. I also have a bit of a darker theory that we might get Zamala's card because he's no longer human, he's a monster. That's a bit of a darker theory. Which also begs the question of, like, that is an interesting thing. So you can only get cards from monsters, but, like, Frostlings are monsters. Cavelings are not, but they're very similar biologically. And Frostlings even have, like, little houses and stuff that they live in, so, like, where's the line drawn? The Fae in Season A are not monsters, but we've encountered a lot of other monsters that... like, the Fae are not monsters, but... but, like, ghosties and the pirate ships ghosts are. It's interesting to me, the line that's drawn. Obviously, humans are not considered monsters. And also these as well. I think I was right in the fact that they are just bits of the madness that Zamala left on the world. Because it carries the same looking sword. It's obviously not the same sword, but it looks the same. So I really think that they're just bits of the madness he etched on the world. Sad we never actually got to fight the giant thorn worm. Frickin' rip. Or not the giant thorn. We fought the giant ones, but I'm sad we didn't get to fight the matriarch. Also, where are the other two stages of that mimic? You are not that cute. So it's interesting the line that's there between what counts as a monster and what doesn't. Oh, that's horrifying. A terrifying monster of nightmares with the power to imprison living things in the twilight. I hate that screenshot. I hate that. That's awful. I don't like that. Oof. But yeah, that is something that's very intriguing to me. I also want to go and check to see if there are any new bosses up here. I don't think so. But you never know. No. I'm also curious about... Oh, this got cleaned up a lot. Oh, shit! Can we talk to Ivy? Bonus. Keep your grubby hands to yourself. It's not really the time to be stingy. We can use some powerful equipment right now. Powerful, you fool. These are just for display. Their designs please me. Do you really think I'd waste powerful equipment on a damn table? When you put it like that, I guess not. Interesting. I talk to you, Quentin. Don't disturb us, please. We're trying to make plans for the defense of the city should you fail. And by the sound of things, that seems highly likely. Hey, have a little bit of faith, man. Little bit of faith. I can't believe your dad would turn out to be a traitor. This is crazy. Dang, this is like some messed up dream. I'm always convinced Ivy would somehow turn out to be a bad guy. And here I thought I was a good judge of character. Yeah, I still wouldn't trust Ivy with the artifacts if I'm honest, but... Her dad went fucking bonkers. Oh, hello there. I somehow mustered the courage to get my lost teleportation device and go back. Now that I've seen the true horror of the other side, I'm trying to get my son here to join me with my new project. Ghost busting. Oh! They have the same hair. Busting ghosts, huh? Hey! Cool. Okay, so that was a bit of an extra little bit of story that I did not expect. Oh, I want to check out the lab as well. But yeah, there's some interesting things that I find they niggle in the back of my mind. Hello, you. I don't get what's happening. I mean, like, am I out of a job now? I think we talked to him before, but yeah, nothing new. Okay. But yeah, there's the issue with the... not issue. There's the thing with the crown that I think is gonna come up. There's the whole thing with the cards and the line between monster and human. That's kind of blurry at times. That really intrigues me. And also, like, can we save our dad? Or are we gonna have to kill him? Like, Jesus Christ. I hope we don't have to kill our own dad, but like, if it's to save the world. This is your house? Are you the Grand Chancellor of Landlovers? Hey, I put pride into my house. That probably wasn't his voice either. I apologize. I'm very proud of my house. But yeah, it's really concerning to me, the line between monster and human. And with Zamala especially, and now maybe my father, it's kind of blurry. As well as the fact of in that horrible dream, we got a card from a copy of ourselves. That's fucking messed up, man. That was messed up. So those are things to keep in the back of the mind as we go forward. I don't remember the name of the sword, sadly, otherwise I would have said it, but I know all the other ones. And I think I've mentioned everything relevant. So that'll probably do it for this video. It went on longer than I expected. The first time I tried making this video was actually shorter than this, despite my rambly, but I had a more succinct things I wanted to talk about, so I guess talking about everything in detail made it a bit longer. Even without my theories here at the end. But yeah, if you guys are still here listening to me ramble, then kudos to you. This video, I know I said this in the last video, but this video will probably be the last one until new story gets added and updated. Even if the side quest gets added, I'll wait till the full story comes out before I go and do the one side quest that I need. Just cause it doesn't seem worth it coming back to make a video on one side quest. Or who knows, maybe I'll just get bored and I'll really miss it and I'll go do it. I can't promise that I won't, but I'm not likely to, is what I'm saying. Cause I really just want more story. I really want more story. But anyway, this should be the last video once you guys are grinding for a while. Thanks you guys for your patience, thank you for sticking around, thank you for enjoying this with me, because I really love this game. I really do. I love the stories. I think I've mentioned this in the last video. I don't remember what all I talked about in the last video and the failed video after where I tried to make this video, because it was like at 3 in the morning and I was rambling like a mad woman. But I really enjoy the characters. I really love all the attention to detail in the environment. I love the world building. I love the story. It's great. This is just a fun game. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Got any tricks or trips or anything you want to see me do, comments down below. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!